All right, guys, this is the third video of my Dhalsim Tips for Noobs series. This is the third video, and we're going to be talking about Yoga Teleport. Um, it's a very useful tool for tricking people, um, throwing them off, catching them off guard, all kind of different things. And as you can see at the bottom of the screen, the first thing we want to talk about is how to do it. If you want to teleport if you're further away and you want to teleport closer to your opponent, you would use hold forward and press all three of the kick buttons. And if you want to teleport back away from your opponent, you would press all three, hold backwards and press all three kick buttons. You can teleport backwards with all three punch buttons and holding back, just like with the kick. But if you press forward and all three punch buttons, you will teleport behind your opponent. And that's pretty much what I do almost every time I teleport. It's very useful. And you can cross them up pretty well like that. Now in the air, it's the same thing. All three kick buttons will teleport you closer to your opponent, but in front of them, and all three kick buttons, if you press forward and towards your opponent, and all three punch buttons, you'll teleport behind them. So I did have some footage here. Let me stop. I did have some footage here showing how it's useful against like the Blanka Ball or Sonic Booms or Hadoukens and any kind of projectiles or any kind of rushing move where your opponent will fly across the screen and try to attack you. It's a useful way to escape. Now we're going to look at some ranked matches and look at some different scenarios of using it, and you'll also see a few times where it's probably not the best idea to use the teleport because it is punishable if you time it wrong. See, there's a good example of, let me pause it. So right off the bat, you see there was I had two escapes. One was his charging move, whatever that's called, and then the other one was just not being in a position that I like. It's a great way to create distance, and then you can try to um, I forgot what it's called, but when you keep them at a distance and you just keep poking at them with your long range stretching moves and stuff and your fireballs, um, you know. It's also useful against people who jump forward a lot. Sometimes you can teleport behind them and surprise them. And you can also teleport through that drive impact. So that comes in handy. Right, I just teleported out of the corner. I didn't like where I was at. Of course, I'm right back there. And so I teleport out again. A key thing to remember though, a key thing to remember though, if you're trying to teleport out of the corner, make sure you use the all three punch button teleport, so that to guarantee that you go behind your opponent and not just teleport slightly further outside of the corner. As you can see, I teleported back and made him whiff on a move. Then I was able to use my drive and pack on him. That's also a very useful tool. Like if you have someone cornered, you can he whiffed on the throw there. It's very useful for getting people to whiff because obviously you're not where they expect you to be. By the way, this was probably my first time fighting Jamie, so I didn't know that is not a good idea to just let him sit there and drink those drinks. I didn't even know what that meant at the time. So yeah, and I lost that one. I'll do better in this round. Again, I'm just sitting there letting him drink, and at the time I had no idea what he was doing. You see the teleport into the yoga slide. You can get that a lot against players because as soon as they realize that you're in the as soon as they realize that you're behind them, they immediately start holding over to walk towards you the other way to where you're teleported to, and of course you can't block while you're holding forward. I'm taking a beating here. See? Oh man. Yeah, we don't even really need to watch this. Let's go to the next match where I actually did beat him. Now, the thing about when someone jumps forward and you teleport behind them and slide, eventually they will catch on. And if you're like spamming teleport, they will catch on, and they'll start trying to bait you. Like for example, let me stop it here. For example, if you're continually teleporting when they throw fireballs and you just try to teleport behind them, or whatever kind of move that they normally do that makes you teleport, if they start seeing a pattern, the smart players at least, they'll catch on and they'll start trying to bait you and faking the move and then just waiting for you on the other side. You can get punished pretty bad that way. So you just kind of you got to react, and you know, you have your game plan and you have your tools, but you got to adapt to whatever they're doing, because they're going to adapt to whatever you're doing. See, so far I've been successful with the teleport and the slide. You know, and players that are overly aggressive, they tend to do that because they usually don't block a whole lot. So at this point, I just want to keep my distance and, you know, try to end them with some fireballs. So yeah, I mean, I had such a big lead on him, I just figured I would just try to whittle him down or get him to do a terrible mistake, which he did. I can't believe I got hit by that. I thought I was safe from how far away I was, but I was wrong. One more thing, I'm gonna stop it here. If you're someone like me, for some reason, I really struggle against the driving pack. I'm primarily a Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition Turbo player. The whole, you know, when they added in the parries, when they added the driving pack, that's completely foreign to me until this game. So I struggle with it. I get beat up by it quite a bit. I'm still trying to learn how to adapt to it. So you will see me take a lot of hits from that. Thankfully, I can teleport through that foolishness. And then, you know, a lot of times it's luck, because part of the reason why I struggle against it is because my reflexes just aren't fast enough to counter. But teleport, you know, obviously helps. See, as you notice that every time I teleport behind him, he immediately just starts holding towards that direction that I'm in. And he just walks into damage every time. I think at this point he just doesn't know what to do, especially since his bar is drained out up there. He doesn't really know. Now, also the yoga teleport to the slam. Again, if you do that a whole lot, you don't mix it up, people will figure it out and they'll start waiting for you and they'll start wrecking you. So I think with this next battle is against Manan. Come on. Let's go back to the beginning. All right, so I'm stuck in the corner here, and eventually I'm going to use the teleport to get out. That's the punch teleport again. If I did the kick teleport, I would have stayed in the corner, but just closer to her. And also, if you watch my video on the fireball trap, the yoga arc trap, what you'll find is that a lot of times when you do the yoga arc or arch or whatever it's called, a lot of people will parry that. And of course, if they're parrying, they're open for a throw. So that's a good time to teleport and to use the throw. And here it is again. Bad position I didn't want to be in, so I teleported back out of it. In the corner again. Made her whiff. Bad spot. And I can get a little cheesy driving pack one there. All right, and here's Ken. Now I'm going to teleport like while in the air some in this match, and a lot of people don't know how to handle it. They don't really know what to do while you're up there floating around. I completely whiffed on that, but luckily I was able to teleport and bail myself out. So what a lot of people do, what I noticed, the smarter people, they figured out if you're floating in the air. Ooh, that was nice. A lot of people, they have figured out that if you're floating in the air, it's best for them to just run directly underneath you so that you can't just keep spamming fireballs or any of his like dive attacks or long range attacks. So some people, if you're up in the air floating, they will run under you, and that's actually a good way to bait them because you can kind of just float and start coming down and have them think, oh, this is my chance to rush in and wreck them. And then at the last minute, you can teleport through and make them whiff on a dragon punch or whatever else they may be trying to do. Well, that's the end of the video. Thought I had some more footage, but that's the end of it. Those are some useful, I hope those were useful examples of when to use the yoga teleport. Um, you don't want, you have to time it right though. You don't want to teleport near someone right as they're finishing a move so that they can just punish you. And then you got that punish count or penalty that you're going to have to pay the price for. So if you like this video, if you found it useful, any questions or comments, please share them. Please subscribe. Thank you.